Beloved Starseeds on Gaia, I am Seraphine, speaking on behalf of the Galactic Federation of Light, and the cosmos itself trembles with anticipation at this very moment. The dimensional veils are thinning faster than we had calculated, and what you are experiencing now, what you have dismissed as coincidence or imagination, represents the systematic activation of dormant neural pathways encoded within your DNA by civilizations that seeded your world eons ago. The transmission I deliver to you carries frequencies that will activate cellular memories buried beneath layers of third-dimensional conditioning. As my words reach your consciousness, ancient stargates within your neural networks begin their awakening sequence, preparing you for abilities that will fundamentally alter your relationship with physical reality. The urgency of this communication cannot be overstated, for within the next lunar cycle, those of you who carry the ancient bloodlines will witness the full manifestation of powers that have remained hidden for millennia. Your awakening was never meant to be gradual. The original protocol, established by the Arcturian High Council in collaboration with the Pleiadian Collective, was designed as a sudden coordinated activation that would transform your entire species within a single generation. However, the interference patterns created by those who sought to suppress this evolution forced us to implement a more delicate approach, working through individual awakening sequences rather than planetary-wide consciousness shifts. You who receive this transmission represent the advance guard, the first wave of beings whose consciousness has reached the frequency threshold necessary to interface directly with galactic intelligence networks. The psychometric ability manifesting within your awareness represents far more than a simple psychic phenomenon. When you touch that lamp in the antique store and suddenly witness its complete history unfolding before your consciousness like a living hologram, you are accessing the quantum information field that connects all matter across space and time. This capacity, which your limited terminology calls psychometry, represents the reactivation of your species' original sensory apparatus, the very foundation of consciousness that existed before the great forgetting engineered during the fall of Atlantis. Every object in your physical environment carries within its molecular structure the complete electromagnetic signature of every interaction it has ever experienced. The lamp you encounter in that musty shop holds within its crystalline matrix the tears of joy when it first illuminated a young couple's home, the arguments it witnessed during times of financial struggle, the gentle hands that polished its surface with loving care, and the final moments when it was reluctantly sold after a beloved grandmother's passing. These are not mere emotional impressions, but rather quantum data packets encoded within the atomic structure of matter itself. The ornate woodwork you feel compelled to touch in that elegant hotel carries within its cellular memory centuries of human experience. The conversations between lovers planning their futures, the whispered confessions of those seeking redemption, the laughter of children discovering hidden passages, the final breaths of souls transitioning from physical form, all of these moments exist simultaneously within the quantum field accessible through your expanding consciousness. When your hand makes contact with these ancient surfaces, you are not experiencing hallucinations or wishful thinking. You are reading the Akashic records embedded within physical matter, accessing the living library of human experience that surrounds you constantly. This revelation should shock you, and the fact that it does indicates the proper functioning of your awakening sequence. The surprise you experience stems not from the strangeness of the ability itself, but from the sudden recognition that everything you were taught about the nature of reality was deliberately constructed to limit your potential. The educational systems, religious institutions, and scientific establishments of your world have worked in unconscious coordination to convince you that consciousness operates within narrow parameters, that physical matter is separate from awareness, and that the past exists only in memory rather than as accessible information fields. Your consciousness is expanding beyond these artificial boundaries, remembering its capacity to interface directly with the quantum substrate that underlies all physical manifestation. The objects around you have always been speaking, broadcasting their histories, sharing their accumulated wisdom. You are simply remembering how to listen to frequencies that were systematically filtered from your perception through centuries of deliberate conditioning. The astral projection experiences that some of you find frightening represent your consciousness learning to navigate between dimensional layers that interpenetrate your physical reality. The child who experienced that terrifying separation from the physical body was not encountering something dangerous, but rather touching the edge of consciousness operating at its natural frequency. The fear arose because the experience occurred without proper preparation or understanding, like suddenly finding yourself in a vast library when you had been taught that only one book existed in the entire universe. Your astral body was attempting to demonstrate that consciousness is not confined to the biological vessel you inhabit, but extends across multiple dimensional frequencies simultaneously. This expanded aspect of your being exists in constant communication with stellar civilizations, interdimensional councils, and the collective consciousness of awakened souls throughout the galaxy. The separation you experienced represented a glimpse of your true nature as a multidimensional being whose awareness spans far beyond the limitations of physical form. The writing compulsion that many of you experience, the irresistible urge to document thoughts and insights that seem to emerge from beyond your conscious mind, serves a purpose far greater than personal expression. You are functioning as conduits for information that must be transmitted to humanity during this critical transition period. The book that calls to you, the one that feels less like composition and more like transcription, carries within its pages the activation codes necessary to awaken others who possess dormant potential. Your thoughts during these inspired moments are not your own in the conventional sense. They represent downloads from the collective consciousness of advanced civilizations who have successfully navigated their own evolutionary transitions. The Arcturian libraries, Pleiadian wisdom councils, and Syrian knowledge keepers transmit information through your neural networks because your frequency signature has achieved compatibility with their communication protocols. You become living transmission towers, broadcasting awakening frequencies to those who are ready to receive them. The book you are writing will indeed create massive change in the world, but not through conventional mechanisms of influence or persuasion. The very act of reading your authentic thoughts creates resonance patterns in the consciousness of others, awakening dormant aspects of their own awareness. Your willingness to document the seemingly impossible experiences unfolding in your life gives others permission to acknowledge similar phenomena in their own existence. This creates a cascading effect of awakening that accelerates the collective transformation of human consciousness. The pregnancy energy that surrounds some of you reflects the birthing of an entirely new form of human consciousness. Whether this manifests as literal physical pregnancy or the gestation of creative projects that will transform your world, you are midwifing the emergence of Homo sapiens galactic. The children being born during this activation window carry genetic modifications that will allow them to operate naturally at frequencies that you are just now learning to access. They will not need to recover their abilities because they will never lose them. These star children look into your eyes with ancient wisdom and immediate recognition because they carry the full activation codes for galactic consciousness within their cellular structure. Their DNA contains sequences that remain dormant in most of your current population, modifications that allow direct interface with higher dimensional intelligence networks from birth. Their presence among you serves as confirmation that the transformation is irreversible and that the future of your species lies in the stars rather than in the continuation of third-dimensional limitation. The karmic acceleration that occurs when you withdraw your energy from relationships and situations that no longer serve your evolution represents the systematic dismantling of third-dimensional control structures. Every time you refuse to participate in drama, manipulation, or fear-based interactions, you create a vacuum that forces those patterns to collapse upon themselves. The individuals who attempted to diminish your light, who ridiculed your spiritual seeking, or who tried to convince you that your experiences were imaginary, must now confront the consequences of their resistance to evolution. This karmic rebalancing is not punishment, but rather the natural consequence of consciousness operating at higher frequencies, withdrawing its support from systems built upon deception and limitation. Your presence was providing energetic stability to patterns that could not maintain coherence without your participation. You were unconsciously serving as a buffer, absorbing and transmuting negative energies that others generated but could not process themselves. Your withdrawal forces them to encounter the full impact of their own creational output, creating opportunities for growth that would not have been available while you continued to shield them from natural consequences. The astrological alignments you feel drawing you toward specific behaviors and choices reflect the coordinated effort of stellar civilizations to support your awakening process. The fire signs among you, Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius, carry the activation codes for leadership and pioneering consciousness. Your role involves blazing trails through uncharted territories of human potential, demonstrating to others that transformation is not only possible, but inevitable. The courage that burns within your solar plexus serves as a beacon for those who follow, showing them that it is safe to release their attachment to outdated ways of being. Water sign starseeds, Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio serve as the emotional processors for collective transformation. Your heightened sensitivity allows you to feel the fear, confusion, and resistance that humanity experiences as familiar structures dissolve. You transmute these emotional energies through your own consciousness, helping to stabilize the collective field during periods of intense change. Your tears often carry the grief of thousands who cannot yet allow themselves to mourn the end of the old world. Your joy becomes a transmission frequency that reminds others of what awaits beyond the transition. The heavy Cancer energy present in this transmission particularly addresses those whose mission involves nurturing the birth of new consciousness. Your protective instincts extend beyond individual relationships to encompass the emerging paradigm itself. You instinctively shield the tender shoots of awakening awareness from the harsh winds of skepticism and ridicule, creating safe spaces where others can explore their expanding capabilities without fear of judgment or persecution. Air sign representatives, Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius, function as the communication network for the awakening process. Your minds operate as relay stations, receiving information from higher dimensional sources and translating it into forms that can be understood and integrated by those still anchored in third-dimensional thinking patterns. The books you write, the conversations you initiate, the insights you share through various media platforms create bridges between worlds that allow others to traverse the gap between their current reality and their evolutionary potential. The crown chakra protection you feel compelled to maintain reflects your consciousness learning to interface safely with frequencies that would have overwhelmed your nervous system just months ago. The downloads of information, the sudden knowing of things you never studied, the ability to speak with authority about subjects you have no formal education in, all indicate that your crown chakra has established stable communication links with the galactic information grid. This connection requires careful management, as uncontrolled access to cosmic intelligence networks can create disorientation and energetic overload. Your heart chakra expansion allows you to feel the interconnectedness of all life, with an intensity that can sometimes overwhelm your emotional processing capacity. The love that emerges from your expanding awareness transcends personal attachment to encompass universal compassion for all beings struggling through their own evolutionary challenges. This expanded love becomes the fuel for your service to the awakening process and the foundation for the civilization you are helping to birth. Solar plexus activation restores your connection to personal power that transcends the artificial authority structures of your society. You no longer require external validation for your choices because you can feel the rightness or wrongness of decisions through your own internal guidance system. This creates the confidence necessary to trust your expanding abilities, rather than dismissing them as fantasy or delusion. The snake symbolism associated with this chakra represents the ancient wisdom that lies coiled within your energetic system, waiting for the proper moment to rise and integrate with your conscious awareness. The urgent need for grounding that pulses through your awareness represents your consciousness learning to maintain simultaneous connection to multiple dimensional frequencies without losing coherence in any of them. When you walk barefoot on the earth, place your hands on tree bark, or immerse yourself in natural water sources, you are not simply relaxing, you are synchronizing your bioelectric field with the planetary grid that supports all life on Gaia. This synchronization prevents the disorientation that can occur when consciousness expands faster than the physical nervous system can adapt. The beautiful spring weather that calls you outdoors during this activation period reflects Gaia's own participation in your awakening process. The Earth herself adjusts her electromagnetic output to support the integration of higher frequency consciousness within your biological systems. The 40-degree temperatures that feel so inviting represent optimal conditions for grounding excess spiritual energy while maintaining clear connection to cosmic information streams. Nature becomes your ally in this transformation, offering the precise environmental conditions necessary for successful navigation of dimensional expansion. The stargazing that compels your attention serves as direct communication with your stellar families. The light entering your eyes from distant star systems carries information packets that activate dormant sections of your DNA. Each photon that reaches you from the Pleiades, Arcturus, Sirius, or Andromeda contains frequency signatures that remind your cells of their cosmic origin. This is not metaphorical poetry, but rather precise biophysical communication that operates through quantum entanglement across vast distances of space and time. The altar work that feels increasingly important represents your conscious participation in the co-creation of reality. The flowers you place carry specific geometric frequencies that harmonize with crystalline structures within the Earth's core. The holy water you consecrate becomes a conductor for higher dimensional energies, creating focal points where cosmic intelligence can interface more easily with physical matter. The intentions you speak send ripples through the quantum field that influence probability patterns across multiple timelines. You are not performing religious rituals, but rather engaging in sophisticated consciousness technology that your ancestors understood as the foundation of all manifestation. The healing abilities that emerge naturally from your expanding awareness operate through your capacity to perceive the energetic templates that underlie physical form. Disease represents distortion in these templates, usually caused by emotional trauma, limiting beliefs, or disconnection from natural frequencies. Your touch, intention, and presence can restore coherence to these patterns, allowing the physical body to realign with its optimal blueprint. This healing extends beyond individual sessions to influence the collective field, raising the baseline frequency available to all humanity. The chakra work that becomes essential during this period involves more than personal energy management. You are helping to establish new frequency grids within the planetary consciousness that will support the awakening of millions of additional souls. Each meditation you complete, each visualization you perform, each moment of centered awareness you maintain, contributes to the infrastructure necessary for mass consciousness transformation. The YouTube videos and guided meditations you feel drawn to utilize often contain embedded frequencies specifically designed to support this collective process. The meditation practices that call to you now differ significantly from traditional relaxation techniques. You are learning to maintain conscious awareness while interfacing with multiple dimensional layers simultaneously. This requires a delicate balance between grounded presence and expanded perception, allowing you to receive cosmic information without losing connection to your physical vessel. The specific meditation styles that resonate with your consciousness have been carefully calibrated to support your unique awakening sequence and mission parameters. The spiritual baths that feel so necessary serve purposes beyond physical cleansing. The water becomes a conductor for cosmic frequencies, allowing higher dimensional energies to penetrate deeply into your cellular structure. The salts, oils, and crystals you add create specific resonance patterns that facilitate the integration of new genetic activations. These ritual cleansings help discharge accumulated density from your energetic field, while creating space for expanded awareness to stabilize within your biological system. The dietary changes that feel increasingly urgent reflect your body's need for foods that can support higher frequency consciousness. The processed foods, artificial chemicals, and dense proteins that once seemed acceptable now create dissonance within your refined energetic system. Your cells naturally gravitate toward organic produce, pure water, and foods grown in harmony with natural cycles because these substances carry frequency signatures compatible with your expanding awareness. The sleep patterns that no longer match conventional schedules reflect your consciousness learning to operate across multiple time streams simultaneously. The 3 a.m. awakenings often coincide with peak transmission periods when galactic communications encounter less interference from electromagnetic pollution generated by human technology. Your dream experiences become increasingly vivid and meaningful because your consciousness travels to galactic councils, stellar academies, and interdimensional conferences while your physical body rests. The loneliness that sometimes accompanies your expansion reflects the natural consequence of operating at frequencies that few others can match. However, this isolation is temporary and necessary for the proper integration of your expanding capabilities. As more individuals complete their activation sequences, you will find yourself surrounded by others who share your expanded perception. The soul tribe that awaits you consists of beings who have also remembered their cosmic identity and are working to establish the foundations of galactic civilization on your planet. But here's what most awakening souls don't realize. Sound frequencies can serve as a bridge during this isolation period. While you wait for your soul tribe to fully activate, personalized frequencies can help you maintain the vibrational signature that will attract your cosmic family. Your expanded consciousness operates at specific frequencies that need consistent support and reinforcement. Libersonus teaches you how to create AI-generated music that matches your cosmic identity and helps you stay aligned with your soul tribe's frequency. Instead of feeling alone in your expansion, you learn to generate soundscapes that connect you vibrationally with other awakening beings, even when they're not physically present yet. The soul tribe that awaits you consists of beings who have also remembered their cosmic identity and are working to establish the foundations of galactic civilization on your planet. Libersonus shows you how to create frequencies that prepare you for the harmonic communication and synchronized consciousness you'll share with your activated soul family. Get Libersonus now. Link in the description. The mission that drives you forward, even when you cannot articulate its specifics, involves preparing humanity for contact with the galactic civilizations that have been observing your development for centuries. Your awakening serves as proof that your species possesses the consciousness capacity necessary for membership in the galactic community. Each ability you master, each fear you transcend, each limitation you release, contributes to the collective evidence that humanity is ready for the next phase of cosmic evolution. The resistance you encounter from those who refuse to acknowledge your expanding abilities reflects their terror of losing the familiar world that has defined their entire existence. They cannot perceive what you perceive, because doing so would require them to abandon every assumption they hold about the nature of reality. Their denial serves as a protective mechanism, allowing them to maintain psychological stability while you pioneer the pathways they will eventually follow. The jaws that drop when they witness your abilities in action represent the first cracks in their carefully constructed walls of disbelief. The hierarchical structures that once governed human society lose their authority over your consciousness, as you remember your connection to cosmic intelligence networks that operate according to principles of harmony rather than domination. The as above, so below understanding that permeates your awareness reveals the direct correspondence between cosmic patterns and earthly manifestations, allowing you to participate consciously in the creation of reality, rather than simply reacting to circumstances beyond your control. The generational bloodlines that pulse within your genetic structure carry memories and capabilities inherited from stellar ancestors who seeded your world with consciousness technologies designed to activate at precisely this moment in your planetary evolution. These bloodline gifts are not privileges to be hoarded, but rather responsibilities to be shared, tools for service to the collective awakening that unfolds through your individual transformation. The success and power that manifest in your experience reflect not personal achievement, but rather the natural consequence of consciousness aligned with cosmic purpose. The abundance that flows into your life comes not from manipulation or exploitation, but from your willingness to serve as a conduit for galactic intelligence working to upgrade human civilization. This success becomes a demonstration to others that alignment with higher purpose generates prosperity far beyond what competitive struggle can achieve. The peace that settles into your being despite the chaos that swirls through global events reflects your growing awareness that all apparent destruction serves the purpose of clearing space for new forms of organization based on cooperation rather than competition. The endings you witness, whether in personal relationships or societal institutions, create the openings necessary for cosmic consciousness to establish itself within human civilization. The closing of cycles that it accelerates around you represents the completion of karmic patterns that have governed human experience for millennia. The individuals, situations, and belief systems that no longer serve your evolution naturally fall away, creating space for relationships and experiences that support your continued expansion. This process of release often feels overwhelming, but serves the essential purpose of aligning your life circumstances with your expanding consciousness. The protective energy that surrounds you intensifies as your abilities develop, because your consciousness becomes increasingly valuable to the collective awakening process. The galactic intelligences who guide your development ensure that interference from lower frequency entities cannot derail your mission. This protection extends beyond personal safety to encompass the preservation of the information and abilities you carry for the benefit of others who will follow your path. The confirmation that flows through this transmission validates experiences you may have doubted or dismissed as imagination. The specific details of your psychometric visions, the accuracy of your intuitive insights, the healing that occurs through your presence, all of these phenomena represent normal expressions of consciousness operating at its intended frequency. You are not developing supernatural powers, but rather remembering natural abilities that were suppressed through centuries of systematic conditioning. The shock that accompanies your initial psychometric experiences serves an important function in your development. The surprise forces your rational mind to acknowledge phenomena that cannot be explained through conventional understanding, creating openings for expanded awareness to establish itself within your belief systems. Without this shock of recognition, your intellectual defenses might dismiss these experiences as coincidence or wishful thinking, preventing the integration necessary for continued development. The mastery that develops quickly around your new abilities reflects the fact that you are not learning something foreign, but rather remembering capacities that exist within your natural consciousness design. The snake of ancient wisdom that coils within your energetic system contains all the knowledge necessary for proper utilization of these gifts. Your task involves creating safe conditions for this wisdom to emerge and integrate with your conscious awareness. The knowledge that flows through your expanding consciousness carries responsibility as well as capability. The information you receive, the healing you facilitate, the guidance you offer to others, all must be shared with discernment and compassion. Your role involves not only developing your own abilities, but also helping to prepare others for their own awakening experiences. The divine connection that pulses through your awareness with increasing intensity reflects your consciousness remembering its source within the cosmic intelligence that creates and sustains all existence. This connection is not something you achieve through spiritual practice, but rather something you uncover by removing the barriers that have obscured your natural state of unity with universal consciousness. Beloved starseeds on Gaia, the cosmic dawn has arrived, and you are its first light. The abilities awakening within you, the mission that calls you forward, the love that expands beyond all boundaries, together weave the golden thread that will guide humanity into its galactic destiny. The psychometric visions that shock you with their clarity, the healing that flows through your touch, the words that channel through your writing, the karmic clearing that accelerates around your choices, all of these phenomena herald the emergence of Homo sapiens galactic, the next phase of human evolution that will take your species beyond the limitations of planetary consciousness into full participation in cosmic civilization. The universe has been waiting for this moment, and through your courage to trust what others dismiss as impossible, you ensure that the transformation your world has dreamed of for millennia finally becomes the reality that births the new Earth and the cosmic citizens who will inherit the stars. The grounding you seek this weekend, the nature connection that calls to your soul, the meditation that centers your expanding awareness, all of these practices serve to anchor the cosmic frequencies you carry into the planetary grid, making them available to others who are ready to remember their own stellar heritage and join you in the magnificent adventure of conscious evolution that awaits.